Every skill in life has one point of highest return. In motorcycle racing, you have the entry where you're slowing down going into a corner, and you have the exit where you're speeding up. In selling real estate investment property, you are just pricing the property and marketing it to buyers. The fastest point on a racetrack is not a mystery. Find it first. You can learn a new track in 200% less time by finding the fastest point on that track, and if you increase that speed at that fastest point more than anywhere else, you will get more return than any other spot on that racetrack. That is the point that matters. The difference between a principle and a tactic is huge. You need to get a principle in your blood. And once a principle is in your blood, it doesn't matter the tactic because the tactics are superficial. Let's dive into that. So the expert amateur problem. Amateurs break things down into 10,000 pieces. If you go to the comments on any one of my videos, you'll see people talking about how I'm oversimplifying racing, real estate, etc. An expert, on the other hand, knows that a few key things truly matter. Because if I give you 10,000 things that you need to hold inside of your mind, there's no way for you to do it. And also, there's probably one thing that matters most. That's the theory of constraints. You find the one thing that's holding your flow up the most, and you work through that system. You work through that, repeat it, until eventually you start working your way down. Because you can instantly spot an amateur because they overcomplicate an idea. Maybe because it's part of their identity. They've maybe struggled with racing on track, so therefore they have to make it seem complicated to justify in their mind why they're maybe not at the speed that they want to be at. Weird take, but it's true. They attach themselves to the role, so they know the amount of time they've spent on that. So if someone else can easily break down their idea on what they do, that means that the person is dumb. But you aren't dumb. If you can't explain what matters first, it's okay to say, I don't know. If someone's telling you everything that you shouldn't do, if someone can't explain what matters first, they're a gatekeeper, not an expert, unfortunately. This is the fastest corner principle. Every skill has the fastest corner, one point where your effort returns the most. Call it your arbitrage, call it your alpha, call it the ROI, call it the one thing, or the 80-20 principle. In motorcycle racing, where are you going the fastest mile an hour on track? Find that first. Maximize that. Now, where is your second fastest mile an hour? Maximize that, because in those areas, if you can carry an extra more 5 miles an hour, that leads to a longer term benefit. Rather than boiling the ocean on small corners that may not matter, increase your speed in the fastest corners where you cover the most distance, and all of a sudden, that's a huge lever that you can pull right now to improve your track riding. If you're at a new racetrack, find the fastest straightaway first and the fastest corner. Start from there and work your way backwards. Now, we're going to take a little bit of a departure and talk about playing poker. Oh my gosh, right? But you disagree because you say, Nolan, oh my gosh, that's so easy for you to say. You're the MotoAmerica Superbike Cup champion. You're the first Indiana native to ever finish top 3 in a professional motorcycle road race. And you won 12 MotoAmerica Superbike Cup races, or 20. I forget the number. And you raced years, so this doesn't apply to me. But I disagree. And that's because you're taking advice from amateurs, not experts. A tactic only applies to a couple of situations. A principle is overarching. I played poker for the first time a couple of weeks ago. Can you tell that I was not in a fraternity? But what is the point in me, someone who's never played poker before, learning 1,000 variations, terms, positions, hands, and all the nuance if I don't know the difference between a pocket and the flop? But how do you win in poker? You have the highest cards. So therefore, if I have face cards, I'll stay betting. If I have one face card and a low card, I might stay or I might fold. If I have no face cards and no cards of the same suit, I'm folding. If I don't have high cards, there's no point in me staying in. Yes, I might win. Yes, I might have some better bluffing. Yes, I might be able to maybe convince some other people of some stuff, but it's not a good long-term bet. Is that oversimplified? Probably. But does it give me something realistic to focus on versus memorizing 1,000 different things that I'm not going to be able to remember? Yes, I can keep one thing in my mind. That's good. Now we're going to switch and talk about cooking. You want to make a dinner. You go online and you look up a recipe, and that recipe will give you a marinade that you need to start the night before. Ingredients that you don't have. Meanwhile, you've got a stomach that sounds like a lion on the savannah, and you're holding a pack of uncooked chicken thighs. Recipes are the worst at overcomplicating things because the more time that they get you to read something, that's the more AdSense that they can sell you. So there are 2 principles that you need to know when it comes to cooking. you need to salt your ingredient, and you need to control your temperature to give it some kind of crust and to not overcook it. So my process is simple. I'll just put salt on something and then cook it on medium, high heat on the stove. Now I can apply this principle to cooking anything, whether it's chicken thighs, shrimp, tuna, cucumber, or even a steak. I will never use a marinade. Never use a marinade because the return's never going to be high enough. If I just salt the meat and cook it to a decent temperature, I'm going to be most of the way there. Meanwhile, if I have some 15 ingredient marinade with no temperature control, it could give me a boiled chicken texture. Or let's say I do get the temperature right and I do get a good crust. Stay with me here. For all the effort that I'm going to put in, I'm not going to get that benefit out of it. I'd much rather just cook the thing right now and not have to worry about it. You don't need to focus on all these different things. If you salt the stuff appropriately and have a good texture, that's most of the way there. Lastly, selling a real estate investment. You bought a real estate investment property and you come to me saying, Nolan, oh my gosh, I got to sell this thing. There's only two things that my team and I focus on. You got to price it well and you got to market/distribute the property. Pricing, is this pre or post renovation? That's a big difference. What do those other comps look like? What might need to be renovated? What are those costs? Do we have a floor plan to appropriately estimate this, or has it been renovated, and what do those comps look like? That's where people price these things with a pie in the sky mentality, and that you may not have comps. So therefore you just go back and like, all right, what would it cost to redo this? Adding in some extra buffer, adding in extra stuff, and boom, now we have a price. Now we have a way to back it up. It's not just, I'm thinking for this house, let me just pick a number. No, that doesn't work. And that's not what we do. For the distribution and the marketing, I can sell you on some super secret process that I have, but I don't have some super secret process. I just find other local investors, whether that's through the tax records of nearby houses, talk to local insurance agents, city hall, board of trustees, water department, wholesalers, cash buyers, etc. Those are the people that are going to buy an investment property most of the time. And then you put it up on the market. It's really not that complicated. Compare that simple structure to someone saying, at acquisition, our practice concentrates on the valuation of assessment of renovation status, pre-renovation, comparative analysis, cost estimation, structural evaluation, post-renovation is revised comparables, confirmed improvements. Distribution requires an identification of the acquisition community through municipal records, insurance costs, wholesale networks, and established investor circulation circuits. Yuck. So, in summary, amateurs needlessly overcomplicate something to make themselves feel better for the skill level that they are at. Find the most important thing, what you need to focus on for whatever topic you are in. Talk with other experts, and if that expert can't give you 1 to 3 things that you should focus on, they're not an expert. Having 2 things in your head beats 10 things that you cannot remember. I'm going to repeat that. Having 2 things that you can remember in your head beats 10 things that you cannot remember. And early wins compound. Getting good at a couple of things will build the foundation that everything else sits upon, whether it's a racetrack, cooking steak, or playing poker. If you like this video and you want to see more, there's a link below for the article for where this video came from. There's other articles that I post to get a sneak peek. And there's, inside of that, there's a member section to where you have track video that you want to go over, track data, or you just want to pick my brain on something. You get a free 15-minute one-on-one session with you and me. And then we have a monthly group call to where we talk about whatever the group is dealing with at the time. Get some questions ahead of time and then answer those. Not some pre-scripted thing, not some course that's way out of date. It's just a simple conversation. If you like this video, leave a comment with the emoji of a wrench. Thank you for watching. What tracks are you going to next? And what do you think of this video? Share this video with your team. My name is Nolan, and I'll see you later. I think that's everything I got. Later.